All right, today we're jumping into the work of philosopher Wilhelm Schmid to talk about something, well, something that's so fundamental we often forget it's even there. I'm talking about the power of touch. Schmid kicks things off with a paradox that's just so true for our time, right? We spend all day, every day, tapping and swiping on these lifeless glass screens. It's a kind of touch, but it's totally disembodied. And what does that do to us? Well, it creates this deep, almost primal hunger for the real thing, that genuine human connection.
So this really brings us to a huge question for how we live now. With this constant flood of digital everything, are we accidentally starving ourselves of something totally essential? Are we creating a sort of famine of physical contact? Let's dig into that.
Okay, first up, to really get what's at stake here, we've got to look at what happens when we live in a world that's, well, pretty touch-deprived.
So here's the first thing you really need to get. Touch is not just some nice little bonus. It's not a luxury. It's a straight-up biological need. It's literally our first language. I mean, think about it. Even before we're born, we're surrounded by touch. It's how we first learn about the world.
And the evidence for this? It's pretty stark, honestly. You look at studies from the 20th century, from orphanages, infants who didn't get enough human contact, well, the consequences were devastating, sometimes even fatal. And this need, it never really goes away. For us as adults, a simple, positive touch can boost our immune system and releases oxytocin. That's the hormone that helps us trust and bond with people.
Okay, so given how biologically crucial touch is, Schmid proposes something pretty radical, a whole new way of thinking about what it even means to exist. So check out this powerful contrast. For hundreds of years, we've had this idea from Descartes, right? I think, therefore I am. It puts all the emphasis on our brain, our consciousness, as the center of our being. But Schmid comes along and just flips that on its head. He offers a new motto for the 21st century. I touch, I am touched, therefore I am. His whole point is that we don't prove our existence in the quiet of our own minds, but out there, in contact with the world and with each other.
And this really highlights the shift in thinking. Being human, it's not some abstract thought experiment. No, it's messy, it's sensory, it's all about relationships. See, when you touch something, it also touches you back. It's a two-way street, and it's in that moment of contact, that back and forth, that we really feel alive. It's what breaks us out of just being stuck inside our own heads.
So, building on this foundation, Schmid takes us through these fascinating worlds of touch. And where does he start? Well, with the world that's closest to us, ourselves.
He has this really cool metaphor for it. He calls it the daily theater. The idea is that every single day, we're both the actor and the director of our own little play. And this play doesn't start when we walk out the door. Nope, it starts in those private moments, when we're getting ready, engaging with our own bodies through touch to prepare ourselves for the day.
And he says this performance has a few acts. Act 1, the mirror. That's the prologue, where we're looking for a bit of self-acceptance. Act 2 is the wardrobe, choosing our clothes, which he calls our second skin, a way to show the world how we feel inside. And the final act is adornment, makeup, hair, jewelry, all the little signals we send about who we are. Every single step is a private, intimate act of self-touch that helps build our identity for the day.
But here's where it gets even bigger. Schmid doesn't just stop at physical touch. He argues that we can be touched in ways that have nothing to do with skin at all.
Yeah, this is where the idea really opens up. He's talking about touch as an emotional thing, an intellectual thing, even a spiritual thing.
I mean, just think about this simple example he gives. A laugh. When someone genuinely laughs, that sound can literally reach out and touch you, right? It can make you feel connected, or maybe even a little alienated, depending on the situation. It's not physical, but the effect is absolutely real.
So Schmid breaks down this non-physical touch into three main types. First, there's emotional touch. That's that amazing feeling of being truly seen or understood by someone else. Then you've got intellectual touch. This is when an idea from a book or a great conversation just clicks and sparks something new in your mind. And finally, there's spiritual touch. Think about those moments of just pure awe, like looking up at a sky full of stars, where you feel connected to something way bigger than yourself.
Reading a book is a perfect example of this intellectual touch. You're not just scanning words on a page. You're literally letting the thoughts of another person, someone who could have lived hundreds, even thousands of years ago, touch your mind. It's this incredible form of connection that just jumps across time and space.
All right, so if touch is this vital in all these different ways, then the big question is, how do we get more of it in our lives? And this brings us to Schmid's final, and I think most empowering point.
Here's the big takeaway. We need to stop thinking of touch as something that's just passive, something that just happens to us. Instead, we should start seeing it as an art form. It's a skill, something that takes practice, awareness, and a little bit of reflection to get good at.
And just like any art, you learn it by actually trying. It means being patient, paying attention, and even talking about it with other people. The real mastery, the real skill, is developing that sensitivity, that intuition for what's right. Finding the right measure, when to touch, who to touch, and what kind of touch the moment needs. That's really the heart of it.
And that brings us right back to where we started, but with a challenge for you. We live in a world of swipes and taps, a world that often prefers a smooth screen to the messy, real, unpredictabilities of actual human contact. So the question is, how are you going to reclaim the power of real touch? In all its forms, physical, emotional, intellectual, how are you going to bring that art back into your life?